Today we just got the official trailer for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, and today I'm breaking it down. So in case you didn't know, the movie drops on May 22nd of course, 2026, and the trailer starts with the beginning part of the sort of teaser for the actual trailer, which was yesterday, revealing that the trailer was going to be tomorrow. It showed a really nice shot of a couple X-Wings, probably over that planet that we see Mando getting his missions assigned in the end of Season 3. You also get to see a red aspect droid, and then he's starting up the new Razor Crest with Grogu touching some of the buttons, and that was basically the clip that we got of the reveal that the trailer was going to be tomorrow. So the trailer starts off on this like underworld planet, which might be Coruscant, but it probably isn't, and we get to see Mando asking for information about a hut, which is supposedly Rada the Hutt. I'm assuming it is Rada the Hutt. It could technically be a different one. And then we get a better look at the hut that will obviously be in the movie. And then we do get a nice look at an Imperial Warlord, which is probably one of my favorite parts of this trailer. It's supposedly on Hoth. I'm assuming it's going to be Hoth. Honestly, it could technically be a different planet, but it is that snow planet. Probably the same one that we see those AT-ATs, or technically AT-ATs, I think, or AT-ACT. It's like a prototype of an AT-AT, so technically not actual AT-AT, but I'm assuming it's going to be the same planet and will probably be Hoth. And we also get to see him, like the Imperial Warlord, with a couple other like people around his table or whatever, and he's just saying long live the Empire, so it's not really revealing a lot, but there is cool Imperial Remnant snowtroopers, which is really cool, like Imperial Remnant trooper designs. They have the regular stormtrooper, obviously. I think there's also the AT-RT pilot, which hopefully will actually exist because it is in the Lego set officially revealed, but it could just straight up not be in it because Lego has done that before. And then of course there's the snowtroopers for Hoth, which actually look very nice. And of course we do get a little cool like scene later on with those snowtroopers that I'll talk about a little bit later, but we do get to see Colonel Ward handing a sabacc card to Mando. And if you know what sabacc is, it's basically like the poker version in Star Wars, and she's handing Mando like a card saying that Mando is saying that he'll take out like anyone that the New Republic wants him to. So that could be like a cool way of showing like every single like villain that they're gonna take down in each sabacc card. I haven't played sabacc that much that I know that there's like what individual cards there are, but I believe there is 76 cards in a regular sabacc. I don't think you'll take down 76 villains in this movie, but I think it is a cool way to show it. I believe it was in some comics or some books, which maybe can, and so it is a cool way to show it off. And then that other scene I was talking about, which is Mando walking into what probably is that room with the Imperial Warlord we saw before, with two Imperial Remnant snowtroopers guarding the sides, and then they get lit on fire by Mando, of course using his flamethrower. I'm assuming it's the same room that the Imperial Warlord was in. He may not be in that specific room at the specific time that Mando is. Of course, I'll have to wait until the actual movie comes out. And then we do get to see that same planet where Mando gets assigned his missions with a couple X-Wings and Y-Wings, and then we do get to see a U-Wing, which I assumed the last U-Wing was destroyed on I believe it was Edu in Rogue One. So we did see this U-Wing before though in like the teaser trailer, where there was a couple U-Wings chasing after the Razor Crest, which could be because they're their enemy or not, but I did do a full breakdown on the teaser trailer if you want to check that out. And then we get to see a nice cool picture of Colonel Ward, and as well as an Imperial Remnant mouse droid, I'm assuming is what it is. It's like a mouse droid, but it has like a white color, so it could just be like a Hoth version, like a Hoth mouse droid or something, obviously with a different name. It's basically just a mouse droid with some bulkier wheels, and then Grogu is taking it down. The next scene, it goes by pretty quickly, so I don't have any like good images of it, but basically I'm seeing some like what I'm assuming is that mercenary droid, which in some toy reveals we got, which basically like a battle droid like reassembled with some like brownish parts. shorts. These ones have capes, and I don't think any of the toys that were revealed have capes. And then there's some like ships which were going very fast and hard to see. I tried to make it out, but I wasn't really able to. So they were coming out of three like shoots for the ships, and then we get to see the new Razor Crest go into hyperspace, which looks very nice. And then probably the best part of the trailer, it's sort of broken up a little bit. So we have like this tall figure, which is, I don't really want to spoil it. And then it cuts to a clip of Mando with his helmet off, Pedro Pascal. And then it cuts back to what is Embo from the Clone Wars. He was a bounty hunter, which was actually in the Clone Wars a lot. Very, very cool if you're a fan of the Clone Wars. Hopefully he gets a lot of screen time. Honestly, it's very nice. Definitely a surprise for me to find Embo there. But it sort of had a cut between the scenes. It was a rainy planet, and we get to see the back of what was Embo. And then it cut to a scene of someone taking Mando's helmet off in front of like the Hutt like clan. So that could be Embo taking in Mando, and that could be how they got to that planet, which is where Rod of the Hutt was and where they'll later be dueling on. And then we get to see again that nice picture of Embo. So also the scene before, which was the back of Embo, showed his pet, and then of course it cut to Mando removing his helmet like before, and then Embo. So I'm assuming again it is Embo removing his helmet. We don't get to see his pet in the version that he removes his helmet, just the one that we see like the back of him. So that definitely is Embo. I don't know if it is again him removing his helmet, but the next big part is Grogu training to basically be alone, because Mando is saying that his species basically lives forever, like almost 1,000 years, and he won't be able to protect him always. So he is sort of training in what sort of looks like a brighter Dagobah. And then we do get to see a cool look of that duel with Mando and Rod of the Hutt, as well as a new creature questioning Grogu, which probably is on the same planet that he was training on. Could be just going alone, I'm assuming. At least he's trying to make it seem like he's just going alone. This could be like on the end of the movie, and we get to see again a creature which I'm not quite sure what it is. It's probably something out of Legends or some other book, or maybe just a completely new creature, which the creature asks Grogu if he's scared, and he says you should be, which kind of reminds me of how Yoda and Luke were talking in episode 6 about Vader, and how Yoda was saying you should be scared of Vader. So it kind of makes me think of Yoda. So that is really cool for them to actually include that. I don't know if they're actually referencing that, but it is cool really to see that quote. But for the next part, we get to see a creature which was from the Clone Wars when they went to the planet of the Hutts, but it looked a little bit different. But like at least color wise, this one that we see in the trailer is a lot whiter, which I'm assuming is because they're sort of like underground. There is a little bit of that sun reflection, so it might be doing something about it. But I think that is actually a really cool like little shot that we get. And then we also get a little bit more of Zeb, as well as a stormtrooper transport being what is obviously it's exploded, but it's trying to make it seem like Grogu is using the Force, like this picture of him using the Force on what could be the same planet, and then it cuts to where the stormtrooper transport explodes. So it definitely could be trying to trick us. That's what they did for one of the scenes in the teaser trailer, where Grogu was looking through a single scope lens, I guess, if you want to say, and then it was cutting to a picture of it zoomed in, but it was actually two lenses, like a micro binoculars, and not that single scope. So that is an example of them trying to trick us. I don't really know. It was just a teaser trailer, so it didn't really matter so much. But I mean, they could be completely different. Grogu could also not be using the Force. He did use the Force to lift that mouse droid from before. But another really cool scene is in that same like arena where they were battling Rod of the Hutt. Mando gets to fight these cool creatures, which I don't know the actual name, but they're from the Jarek board game, which is basically chess in Star Wars. It's hollow chess, I guess, if you want to say, which was in the Falcon. That's what the board on the Millennium Falcon was. Chewie and C-3PO were playing in episode 4. And then we also get to see a really cool picture of him again. And Grogu steals a stroller from, I believe, a Rodian, which is the same species as Greedo. And it's basically like his pram before. He kind of got rid of it, and he's just been walking around. But Mando looks at him, and then he jumps into the one basically looks like a a space stroller instead of a pram, and then it has, of course, that back handlebar to like grab on, push, and then it folds down sort of, and he that completely flies. He goes very insane speeds for what is, I'm assuming, a space stroller, but it's a really cool scene. It may be in a lot more of the movie, and then we can see more of Mando and Grogu in that stroller, and then Mando flying with his jetpack, and we get to see the Mando and Grogu logo, but also that Star Wars is added on top. So right after the Mandalorian and Grogu logo for most trailers, it has another clip at the end for like that final 1 second clip, which I thought was gonna be Embo, at least after watching this trailer, but it ends up not really being anything, just a quick little scene with Mando and Grogu, and then in theaters on May 22nd. I really thought this was actually I actually loved this trailer. Honestly, I kind of like the route that they went for. Instead of adding Embo to the very end, they gave him a lot more screen time, and hopefully he does get a decent amount of screen time in the actual movie. I don't think he's going to be like the main villain. He'll probably just be in there for like one scene or one act or whatever, but I believe this was actually the movie or just show in general with like the least amount of like money, or at least budget, I guess. I don't know the actual budget, but I'm very, very hyped for this movie, more than Maul Shadow Lord, and I'm definitely going to see this one at day one. I'll have a breakdown of the movie, probably spoilers and no spoilers. I guess that'll just be my thoughts on the movie, but I'm very, very excited for this trailer. Let me know your thoughts down below. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have an amazing rest of your day, and see you all in the next one.